It's KC 101, and we are talking with Shirley Bailey, 93 years old, and it's part of our Saturday with Seniors series here on KC 101. And good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you.
You are looking wonderful. I can't believe you told me you're 93 years old.
I keep busy. I really do.
You obviously do, and you're very excited and looking forward to this trip. So tell me about where you were born, where you're from, and your background.
I was born between Mansfield and Wellsboro on a farm called Maple Lane Farm, and I lived there until I was 16. And then we moved into Mansfield.
So what was life like on the farm? Did you have to help out with the chores?
I sure did. Everybody, well, I had 6 brothers and a sister, and everybody had their own chores. And mine was cleaning the hen house and cleaning the bathroom, which was an outhouse.
Okay. So there was not quite the style of cleaning now where you just spray and flush.
No, indeed it was not.
How much chores? An hour a day of chores or more every day?
Oh, I don't remember. They usually pile some more on me because I was next to the youngest one, and they get away with that. But no, life was really good. We had a good time on the farm.
So a farming family you grew up until you were 16.
Yes.
And then what happened from there?
Well, my father died when he was 48. And
I'm sorry?
And left
wow.
us on the family farm, and it was a large farm, and my mother couldn't handle it. 275 acres. And so she gave the farm to my brother, my oldest brother, and we moved into town.
Mm-hmm. Is the farm still in the family?
No, it is not.
Been passed down. So where did you go to school? Where was your first schooling?
Mansfield, always Mansfield, except for 2 years, which we moved to Wellsboro after my father died. My mother worked there. The rest of the time it was Mansfield. I graduated from Mansfield High School in 46. And
you do any sports in school?
Oh, yeah, especially high jumping and all the things like that, I couldn't even do that. Now I can't even jump 2 feet.
So what was different about school when you were going in the 40s versus what it's like now? And I know you're not there now, but but what do you think is some of the bigger differences?
I think it was more personalized. I think the teachers spent more time with us. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Hearing my grandchildren and great-grandchildren talk, I feel that they don't have the time that we used to have with our teacher.
Is there probably a little more elder respect too? Well, I'm assuming you wouldn't talk back to your teacher in school, or you wouldn't. You'd be a dumb kid to do it then.
Definitely not. You didn't talk back. No. One of my favorite teachers was my home ec teacher. Her name was Miss Reimerd, and I wanted to be a home ec teacher, but after my father passed away, there was no way that I could afford to go to college. Now they have counselors that help you get that information, but back then we had nobody. So.
And being a woman in the 40s in school, did they encourage you to go a certain direction with the schooling? Because now there's really no limitations, male, female,
No, not really.
No.
They wouldn't have been able to tell me anyway. I was independent. I still am.
I get that about you.
I still am. Yes.
So let's talk a little more about when you were a kid, television. Do you remember when you got your first television, and was it a blessing or a curse?
You know what? I don't remember that, but I still have a black and white TV down in my basement.
Okay. So you haven't upgraded yet to
We
HD.
had wonderful summers. We had relatives that came from St. Louis and New Jersey. And one of them had a cottage in Pine Creek. And we would go down there every weekend after we made homemade ice cream from our ice house.
Oh, you had an ice house too?
Yes, we had our own ice house. And we would go down there and have dinner with them. And then we would walk the rails and hit the rails with big sticks that we kept for rattlesnakes, looking for rattlesnakes. That was our favorite thing to do.
You wanted to find a rattlesnake?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the stick was for safety. No, it was part of the fun of the game.
Yeah.
So for entertainment, you look for rattlesnakes in the railroad
And when
tracks.
you went to the outhouse down there, you made sure that you knocked on everything before you went in.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Things that, well, now common sense is lost because we don't use outhouses so much anymore. Do you miss outhouses, or is plumbing the greatest invention that you've seen?
Well, it was so much fun walking the rails. We'd pound the rails to see if there were any rattlesnakes under there as we walked along.
Yeah.
Down the Pine Creek.
Did you find any?
Oh, we usually did. Yeah. Or at least we would hear them, But,
so what was your first job?
My first job?
Your first full-time job or
I was going to say the first time I got 25 cents an hour for taking care of 2 kids, but that was really a job. My first job was in Emporium, Pennsylvania. My husband, we just got married, and he was a teacher. And the superintendent there asked me if I did office work, and I said, no, I do not. He said, could I teach you? Would you come to work for me? So I went to work for him and worked for him for 8 years. And then we moved to Elmira, my husband and I, because he became a principal in Elmira.
So you really did almost live a little bit of a city. You went from a farm to Mansfield, which would be the city from the farm, on to Emporium, which would be the bigger, and then Elmira eventually.
Emporium is small, yes. And then we went to Elmira and lived there for 32 years in Elmira.
Yeah. So what did you do what did you like to do in your free time growing up?
I love anything about housework. And when I get a headache, I get busy and scrub something or clean something, and I feel so much better. I know it's unusual, but that's
I'm
me.
making a funny face to that, but that's not a bad thing. If you enjoy it.
I just love to keep house and organize things, and that's probably why I wanted to be a home ec teacher.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, we're going to be right back here on KC 101. Stick around, and we are talking here Shirley Bailey, 93 years old. And where are you living these days? What town?
Where do I live?
Yes.
In Mansfield.
Of Mansfield, but many different spots.
Sure
You're back on KC 101. We're back on KC 101 talking with Shirley Bailey. It's our Saturday with seniors, talking with some of the residents who have lived in Tioga County the longest. And Shirley Bailey, 93 years old, and Dunham's Department Store. During the commercial break, I said, give me a key word to ask you. And you said, Dunham's Department Store is a big part of your life. And I would love to hear about this.
Well, it wasn't so much the department store. It was the things that we did. Dunham's had a rolling store.
That truck. I've seen pictures of the old truck.
And it came to our house every 2 weeks. And that's where my mother brought a lot of her things that she needed for the kitchen. And we were allowed to have 5 cents each of us to buy penny candy. That was a big deal for us. 5 cents was a lot.
Yeah.
And we get excited. You see the truck coming down the road way up, and you get real excited, run down to the mailbox. So we'd be there when they got there. But
did you go inside the truck, or did they go in?
Yeah, they had bins with the flour and the things like that, and we just go in there and look around and pick out our penny candy.
We think home delivery now is something new, but you were doing this back in the.
But our family always went to Dunham's on Saturday. That was a big day. My father and mother would go and buy all the equipment they needed for the farm, the food for the animals, and so on and so forth, and they would give us money to go to the movies. And there was always like Tom Mix or Gene Autry or something, and then they always had a cereal along with it. So you had to come the next Saturday to find out what was really going to happen, That was a big deal for us. Every Saturday we went to the movies.
Wow. So was Wellsboro super busy on Saturdays? Was that the busy day in town for everybody to come?
All the farmers, all the farmers came in to get their equipment.
And when you were a kid, on Wednesdays, it was the opposite, right? Every Wednesday was the Saturday around here, as far as most of the businesses would close, or at least half day.
Yep, right.
And wow, so the earliest days. So what were some of the early movies? The Tom Mix, those were the Western movies?
Gene Autry was very good. Yeah, he was.
You're a Gene Autry fan.
Oh, yes. I don't remember what all the serials were, but we had to go because we had to find out what was going to happen the next Saturday,
Kept cliffhanger, kept leaving you.
Yeah, they sure
wondering
did.
what was going to be next.
Yeah.
So how did you get your news when you were younger? What, newspaper, or in the 40s, 50s, in that time period? Do you remember how your parents got their news?
I can't even remember when we got our first radio, but we went to the Grange. A Grange was a big thing in our life, and everybody was talking about what was happening in the world and what was happening in our neighborhood. I think mainly by word of mouth.
Mm-hmm. So, wow. So things just, rumors spread, but they were probably more accurate than they are now.
we went to the Grange, which was only about 5 miles from our home, and had taffy pulls and dinners together and dances. And that was our social life. That and church.
Yeah.
We went to Whitneyville Church. My brother and I used to walk up there on Sundays when my father was busy with chores.
Gave you a strong feeling of belonging, I'm sure, with the organization and support of everything. So tell me about, do you have kids, grandkids?
I have 2 adopted sons, which were precious.
Wonderful.
We got them when they were very, very young. Mm-hmm. And one passed away at 47 with cancer. Oh. And I still have the other one living, and see him quite often. Or if I don't see him, he usually calls me every day. I have 2 great-grandchildren. Of course, I have two grandchildren. My one, Tiffany.
Yes, I do know Tiffany. She's the dog groomer. Hello, Tiffany.
Yes. And my grandson is working down near Philadelphia now. And then I have the 2 great granddaughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
That's
any
my family.
brothers or sisters?
Not living.
No.
Everybody's gone. I'm the only one left in the family. There were 6 brothers and a sister.
Yeah.
And I'm it.
Yep. Well, you've got a lot of excitement in your life. You're just
And
full
I
of
did.
energy.
I had a wonderful childhood, and I had a wonderful adulthood, and I married a wonderful man. And life was perfect for me.
Yeah. It sounds like you lived a great life and loved your life, and you've got a lot of life left to love. And
And I have no complaints at all.
is there anything else that you'd like to share? I know you brought some notes with you.
Well, this was just so I wouldn't get tongue-tied.
You didn't get tongue-tied one bit.
which isn't my usual thing anyway. I don't think there's anything else
Okay.
that would.
Well, I
need to be-
appreciate you sharing your story with us. This has
There's
been
probably
very
a lot of things that happened in my life, but
well, 93 years, I would imagine. So, well, thank you so much for your time, and this has been very interesting. And wish you the best.
thank you for having me.
All right, we're KC 101.